Hello there. In this video, we are going to talk about vaping. Once you have the facts, you can choose to start, quit, or give vaping a complete miss. If you complete the video and answer the questions, you will have the knowledge and facts to decide whether to start, quit, or continue vaping. The following information will give you all the facts about vaping. This will help you make an informed decision about vaping. No one can force you to stop. And no one can force you to start. The final decision is yours. Why do we all ignore good advice when it comes to long-term health? We all do it at some stage in our life. For example, we know our teeth have to last a lifetime, but many people never visit a dentist. We know alcohol and drugs can become addictive, but a lot of people still go out and drink and take drugs. We know smoking causes cancer, but people still smoke, and it's proven that 48.3% will develop cancer and die. Perhaps it's because we all think, if it happens, it will happen at some distant time in the future, and then it will probably happen to someone else. But watch this ITV interview with Ewan Fisher. He switched from cigarettes to vaping at the age 16, trying to stop smoking.
Vaping is fast becoming an epidemic amongst children, according to shocking new NHS figures that reveal those as young as 9 years old are being hospitalised with collapsed and bleeding lungs linked to illegally sold e-cigarettes.
Yeah, well, Ewan Fisher nearly died after taking up vaping at 16 and required an artificial lung to keep him alive, and still suffers to this day and has a warning for children and for parents. Ewan joins us now alongside Professor of Paediatric, Respiratory and Environmental Medicine, Jonathan Grigg. Very good morning to you both.
Morning. Morning.
Look, Ewan, your story is a real shocker for kids. I mean, we understand from these figures that really little kids are taking up vaping. What happened to you at the age of 16?
So I took up vaping as a substitute for smoking cigarettes because I wanted to fulfill my boxing career and try and get the maximum potential that I could. And I didn't listen to my mum when she told me to stop vaping. As a good parent, she was trying to help me. And it just went downhill from there, really. I ended up on 2 different life support machines, in a coma, and on an ECMO machine where that's a lung bypass machine, and I had 20% chance of living, and it ruined my whole life.
When you say it ruined your whole life, do you mean you have not fully recovered and you don't think you will?
Yeah, no, I don't personally. They did tell me I would make a full recovery, but I'm still having quite a lot of side effects now, and it took me quite a long time to walk again, so I missed a lot of my main teen years.
How long were you in hospital for?
So I was in hospital for a total of 8 weeks, and then I actually came out of hospital and had to go back in because I had to go on a high dosage of steroids every month from then onwards.
So it's having a direct impact on your lungs,
yeah,
the vapes. How often were you vaping, and kind of what did the doctors say about what it was doing to you physically? So
I was vaping as like a substitute for cigarettes, so I was doing it, say, 10, 12, 14 times a day. And obviously it's called hypersensitivity pneumonitis, what happened to me. And there was studies that was done with the 2 liquids that I used that shown that something in the liquid did affect my lungs.
Professor Grigg, you're an expert on children's breathing and lungs, and you'll have been watching what's happened in our country over recent years, listening to Ewan's story. The fact that his mum said don't vape. But actually, what is the impact on the lungs of children? What do we know about what vaping does to children and young adults?
Well, we know that they're not safe, and the substances that you're breathing in is not just nicotine, which of course is highly addictive, and this is extremely worrying when children's brains are developing, but also these other substances which, okay, maybe if you take them by mouth, but absolutely are not okay when you breathe them into the lung. These are sort of food flavourings and other types of flavouring particles, ultrafine particles as well, which are generated during the vaping process. We know in a range of models that they have a range of adverse effects. We can see adverse effects like inflammation and other things in our models. Our worry, and absolutely, that Ewan is the sort of tip of the iceberg, we're building up a whole cohort of children who are going to be addicted to vaping over the long term, and this long-term effect is going to have long-term effects on their lungs, their developing lungs, and cause disease.
What would you say, because I'm a mum And, Ranviz mentioned this as well, of course, her child's much younger, but the access to this stuff is just everywhere, and they're colourful and they taste nice. They're like the equivalent of Alka-Pops, aren't they?
Yeah.
For children. But as parents seem to have very little influence. So what would you say directly to the kids who think vaping's absolutely fine, stop nagging me, mum?
Yeah, I'd say please don't do it, because it's not you that it affects fully. It affects everyone around you, all your family, because you're having to be looked after non-stop. And it's also putting a advanced effect on the NHS as well, because you're taking up hospital beds for stuff that you wouldn't need to be in there for if you wasn't vaping, really.
Were you close to death because of what had happened?
Yeah, so I did get told I had a 20% chance to live, and that one night in Glenfield Hospital, they had my family come in and say, you need to say your goodbyes because we don't think he's going to make it through the night, but luckily I pulled through and I'm still here today.
Amazing.
Oh, my goodness. And that's a direct consequence of vaping.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Gosh.
Well, thank goodness you're still with us. And what a wake-up call for anyone who is using them. Thank you very much indeed, Ewan, and Professor Grigg, thank you as well.
Much.
Really
Thank
important.
you for having me.
Ewan Fisher thought vaping was safe, as vaping juice and smoking devices are on sale in local shops and online. You are in total control of your life. It's up to you what you take into your body. You can say, yes, I'll try it. Or perhaps you don't want to risk it as Ewan did. You may feel happier and say it would be better to stay safe and say no thanks. It's not for me. Ewan made a mistake of thinking it was safe for him. Ewan ended up in the hospital, fighting for his life. Next time you want to inhale or swallow something new, it could be okay for other older people to risk. But think for a moment it could contain a chemical that could harm you and put you in a hospital or give you a long-term health problem that could seriously damage your future happiness and quality of life. For example, you would not want to drink the washing up liquid, or sprinkle washing powder onto your fries from McDonald's. Or how about constantly breathing the exhaust fumes from the exhaust pipe on a diesel car or bus? The main difference is you would be drinking washing up liquid, and you would be eating washing up powder. But when you smoke a vape, do you have any idea of what types of harmful chemicals you are taking into your body? Here are a few of the chemicals that are included in your vaping liquid. They all include nicotine. While not an artificial chemical, nicotine is refined from various plants and is a stimulant drug. It is addictive. It can adversely affect the cardiovascular system and is proven harmful to teenagers. Formaldehyde. This toxic chemical is released when e-liquids containing propylene glycol and glycerin are heated at high temperatures. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogen and can cause respiratory irritation. Acetaldehyde. Another carcinogenic compound, acetaldehyde, is produced when vaping products containing ethanol are heated. It has been associated with respiratory and cardiovascular problems. Vapes can also include acrolein, diacetyl, cyanhydrin, benzene, and metals such as nickel, tin, and cadmium. It would be useful to yourself if you Googled or used chat.openeye.com to do your own research on some of the above chemicals. For a moment, visualize yourself vaping. Visualize the cloud of white vapor produced. Think about inhaling the vapor as you fill your lungs. The microparticles pass through your lung walls and into your bloodstream. Think about your blood circulating your body and through your heart and brain. Vaping liquids also include food coloring. Here are a few samples, but many different chemical colorings are used. They are used to give the illusion of freshness and flavor to the various vape liquids. Strawberry, red food coloring, E120. Blueberry, blue food coloring, E133. Watermelon, green food coloring, E102. Food colorings are used in many processed foods and are safe to eat. However, inhaling microparticles of liquid colorings into your lungs can cause respiratory issues or allergic reactions. Here are some possible effects. Respiratory irritation. Inhaling foreign particles, including food coloring, can irritate the respiratory system. It may lead to coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, or chest discomfort. Allergic reactions. Some individuals may have allergies or sensitivities to specific food colorings, including E120. Inhaling these particles could trigger allergic reactions, such as itching, hives, swelling, or difficulty breathing. Asthma aggravation. People with pre-existing asthma or other respiratory conditions may be more susceptible to adverse effects from inhaling foreign particles. Food coloring particles could potentially aggravate asthma symptoms and lead to breathing difficulties. Pulmonary effects. Although rare, there have been reports of lung inflammation or lung damage associated with certain inhalable substances. While the specific risks of inhaling E120 particles into the lungs are not well documented, it is generally advisable to avoid inhaling foreign substances whenever possible. Now you have all the facts and can decide whether to vape or give it a miss. If you are unsure, just think about the money you spend. So the next time you think of spending £20 or £30 on a vaping device and liquid, why not go to the movies instead and have a good time with your friends? One thing is for sure, it will be a lot safer and less chance of you ending up in the hospital fighting for your life. Thank you for watching.